You know what, man? I was a proper fan of this damn game, man. Proper fan of this damn game. It's on my wall and everything, yeah? Last of Us. But I've decided it's fucking coming down now. Fuck this fucking game. Fuck Last of Us. Piece of... What's going on, YouTube? First of all, it's not that deep. I know I ripped the Last of Us poster, but you know what it is, yeah. On the real, how I feel about this whole Last of Us situation with the leaks and the spoilers. Obviously, I've played the first Last of Us game. I enjoyed it. I'm not like a huge fan of it or anything, but I enjoyed the story. The gameplay was quite fun. Very linear game, but you know, the story was really deep. I liked the story. I liked Ellie. I liked Joel. Even Left Behind was cool. Like the drama between all the, you know, lesbian stuff and all that. That's just kind of sad. Like, if they want to make Ellie lesbian, whatever. Like, it doesn't really matter. Like, these characters should be represented or whatever else. But this whole situation is mad, though, man. Leaks came out. You know, Neil Druckmann and that, and Naughty Dog or Muse TV is like striking YouTube channels and stuff like that. It's kind of disgusting. There was all these rumors about stuff in the workplace going on where they were doing crunch at Naughty Dog and developers weren't getting their money in time. They're not getting their bonuses. All this coronavirus conspiracy crap going on, that they used coronavirus as a cover because they didn't want to pay bonuses to the people who want to maximize as much profits as they can. They're overworking their staff. So much stuff going on. Apparently a disgruntled employee leaked all of the storylines for Last of Us. And then now Sony and Naughty Dog have stated that apparently it wasn't a disgruntled employee. It was a hacker that basically hacked into the Naughty Dog servers and leaked all of the stuff like that. So I don't know which one it is. I guess both could be true, because I can imagine there's a proper like anti-SJW hacker that's like, what the hell is this shit? I want to find out what's really going on. And it's like, oh, this is juicy, got to release this. And I can also imagine it's a disgruntled employee that's pissed he's not getting his P's, and that the working environment is horrible and there's too much internal politics and personal politics that inject into the games, and Neil Druckmann and his followers don't want to listen to the other side of Naughty Dog. There's so much stuff to unpack. I've watched quite a few videos on this, but how I feel about it, even though I ripped the poster, that was just for dramatic effect, I actually think, okay, first of all, the storyline sounds trash. I've read the spoilers. I don't know if I want to spoil it in this video or not. I might end up spoiling it. Yeah, I think I will end up spoiling it. But yeah, if I spoil it, I spoil it. If I don't spoil it, I don't spoil it. I'll warn you before I spoil it. Yeah, like the storyline sounds trash. Okay, I'm spoiling it. I'm spoiling it. Basically, they kill off Joel, and I'm just whispering because my sister wants to play it without spoilers, and she might be able to hear me, so I don't know. They kill off Joel and possibly Ellie with apparently, allegedly, a transgender new character that we have to control called Abby. And I think the biggest gripes come from the fact that we have to control this, what seems to be a villainous character that's going to kill our beloved characters that we loved and we got to know in the first game. That Joel took care of Ellie. Yeah, he lied to her, did a bit of a scumbaggy thing. He took her agency away from her towards the end of the first game, and some people aren't very happy with that. Obviously, he did it because he loved her, and well, it might be for more selfish reasons, because he didn't want to lose her like he lost his daughter. But that's where good characters come from, like all these kind of interesting, you know, conflicts of the heart. You know, so that's where good character development and stories come from. But now this doesn't seem like conflict of the heart at all. Abby, from what I've seen of the footage, I haven't watched all the footages, but from what I've seen of the footage and from what I've read, Abby doesn't have no conflict in her heart. She's absolutely focused on fucking up Ellie, fucking up Joel, and fucking up anything to do with them, you know, and apparently a cycle of revenge. Now, I watched Neil Druckmann's video and he's talking about how we don't even know like the full lengths of it. Like he said in his video, it doesn't matter what we think we've seen or whatever else, that playing the full game all at once will be a completely different experience than reading some leaks or whatever. That's what he said, more or less. And you know what, I always thought this, you know, maybe because I'm not as attached to Ellie and Joel like that, or attached to The Last of Us like that, I always felt like, this sounds really, really, really bad, but maybe there's a way this could work. I don't know. Now, in terms of like leftist politics and SJW-ness and all that crap, it's all over the place, man. I've been anti SJW stuff for ages, like, you know, with especially when it comes to my media. Before, I used to ignore all this kind of leftist policies, you know, extreme left, because I reckon I consider myself centre left, but like things in the far left seems to be coming into the mainstream now. Now it's attacking things that I use to escape with my games, you know, movies, you know, TV, those things I use to escape real life policy, real life crap, and then now they're bringing all that shit in here as well. And the biggest problem, look, I'm all for diversity. I think representation is very important if it's done right. I'm all for all of that, but the biggest problem is when they literally come in, all diversity in politics and shit, that takes priority over the story and the characters and the passion and the creativity. You know, they don't even try. Like, look at Star Wars, you know, look at Ghostbusters 2016. Look at all Hollywood want to do is remake everything that featured mostly men back in the days, but just put women in it now. I don't know why that is. If Sylvester Stallone didn't have the right to Expendables, you know that would have been remade with women by now. Everything was done. Anyway, let's not go off on a tangent. Last of Us. Obviously, Neil Druckmann, if you watch his 2013 conference talking about women in gaming and how they're too sexualized, and he's backed by Anita Sarkeesian and all this crap, you know, like, it was always going to be some kind of SJW crap. Like, look at Uncharted 4 when Nadine and was literally impossible. Look, obviously, I'm not going to have a problem with a strong black woman in the game, whether she's a villain or a hero, whatever. But the fact that you can't even fight her, like, you literally try and fight her, you literally just might as well just put your controller down, because you can't. You're there to lose to her physically. It's like they just wanted to show a strong woman just for the sake of it, just to show that they can have a strong woman. And Neil Druckmann himself, from his own mouth, said, "I have an agenda." You know, he said this in 2013. People say, how is there any agenda in video games and movies? There's no agendas. You guys are just making it up. The man from his own mouth said, I have an agenda.
And we, as human beings, we mimic the things that we really like and love. And it affects how we feel about ourselves, our self-esteem, how girls feel about themselves, and how us as guys kind of view girls. These things teach us these elements. So while working on The Last of Us, I had this secret agenda that's becoming less and less secret the more I talk about this stuff. I wanted to create one of the coolest non-sexualized female video game protagonists. And I felt like with The Last of Us, if we did that, there's an opportunity here to change the industry. And I know that sounds pretentious, but that was my goal.
Like, if you're deliberately trying to just make women look good, if that's your goal, then you're failing as a story writer, because your goal should be to tell a good story, not to make women look good. When George R. R. Martin created Daenerys and Brienne of Tarth and Cersei Lannister even, and so many other female characters, George R. R. Martin, his goal wasn't just to be like, my goal is to make women look good. His goal was to make women look real. Women be featured in stories. All you need to do is feature women in stories and tell them from a human's perspective, based on reality. You know, that's it. You don't need to make them look good, or anybody look good. Like, if you're just making a story to make somebody look good, whatever they may be, then that's just like a weird fantasy Mary Sue kind of story. You know, you're just telling a fantasy fan fiction. Then you're not trying to tell a gripping, engaging story that makes you think or feel. You know, like even stories that are involving like transgender people, like Boys Don't Cry with Hilary Swank. That movie was about her transitioning into a boy, I believe. And I remember watching that, and it actually got me. That was years ago when I was probably a bit more closed-minded about stuff like that, you know. But it still got me. I just thought it was interesting, like, and that's because they made show her struggling. They showed her going through hard times. It wasn't like in your face. They weren't throwing it in your face. It was just interesting. Like, now, if they were to make that movie, it would be all in your face. It would be like calling you trash for all this kind of stuff, rather than trying to get you to understand her perspective. Like things have gone from asking, please, I want to be treated equally, I deserve to be treated equally. It's gone from that to saying, you're a fucking asshole, they're just aggressively asking, basically trying to force it down your throat, like, accept me, like, don't just tolerate me, accept me and let me in your house. That's what it feels like, and that's what people are fighting back against. Like, you can't force people to like you. You can only ask them to respect you. That's it. You can't force them to like you, and that's what they're trying. It feels like they're trying to force them to like you. But anyway, that's all the drama. Anyway, the point of all that tangent was to show you exactly how this all happens. But yeah, in terms of Last of Us, is the game going to be good regardless of all these politics? I don't know, man. I really don't know, because I can't predict what's going on in Neil Druckmann's head. The thing about Neil Druckmann is, look, he had SJW politics in Uncharted 4. He even had a little bit in Last of Us, the first game, because he said he had an agenda of Ellie, and and obviously Left Behind, they just made Ellie gay because they wanted to represent that, which is it's not a problem. I mean, if they write the story well, Left Behind was still good, But you've got to remember, 2013 was a long time ago, and I don't know what he's been doing in the last 8-9 years or whatever, but in all that time since 2013, I don't know if his mind has, got even more filled with all the virtue signaling SJW kind of stuff. It might have been pounded with it. Since Anita Sarkeesian apparently allegedly helped with Last of Us Part 2, probably has been. So there could be a lot of SJW crap. People were talking about the lesbian kiss that was revealed at E3. Like, I didn't have a problem with that. I knew what they were doing, but as long as it doesn't... Look, I don't mind if they're going to put like little bits of agenda in it, as long as it doesn't overtake the main story, which is why I still have a little inkling of an open mind about this. Could still be decent. But yeah, like a transgender woman beating the crap out of Joel already sounds pretty bad. Like, I have a strong feeling if Neil Druckmann didn't have these beliefs that he wants to inject into everything. He literally said he wants to kind of represent all this kind of stuff in his media to kind of change the world. He called it pretentious himself. Sounds a bit pretentious.
And I felt like with The Last of Us, if we did that, there's an opportunity here to change the industry. And I know that sounds pretentious, but that was my goal.
But I think I can change the world with my games. If that's your goal, over telling just a good story, I mean, maybe you're trying to do both. That's where the little benefit of that comes in. But if your goal is mainly to change the world with your stories, then I don't know, because I feel like if that wasn't his goal, if his goal was just strictly to tell good stories, we wouldn't be having no transgender Abby character that we have to control for half the game that kills the main characters we love. We'd probably just have Joel and Ellie again, Probably get to control Joel. See, when you start thinking of it like that, it makes you a bit more angry. It makes you realise what you could have had, I don't mind Ellie. I always thought Ellie was going to be the main one in this one. So I always felt like the natural step would have been you control Joel for a little bit, but you control Ellie loads. Kind of like the opposite of the last game, where you control Joel for most of the game, and you had that little section of Ellie. Like, they could have done, maybe there could have been a DLC where you control Joel, like a prequel to Last of Us Part 2. They could do that. That's probably a good way to get some kind of good graces back from the fans. But the problem with Neil Druckmann and Naughty Dog's MO right now is they hate the fans, just like in comics, just like even in movies and stuff. All these people, they're so pretentious and so up their own arses and have the most biggest egos, that instead of how it used to be back in the days where these creators would engage with the fans and ask them what they want and even apologize if they did something wrong, now they're just literally sticking their middle fingers up at you going, fuck you, if you don't like my thing, if you don't like it, don't buy it. And then if you don't buy it, it's because you're sexist, because you're racist, because you're homophobic, you're transphobic, everything. So yeah, but at the end of the day, the gameplay looks good. And I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know what's going to happen with Ellie and Joel. So you can't lie, no matter how much you hate this game or how much you hate the story of the leaks, you're curious to see where it's going to go. And if it's really, you're curious to see just how bad it is, and you're curious to see if maybe it's not as bad as you thought it was going to be. I know no one's really been saying that, but I know people are thinking it. They're curious. So I'm going to wait and see. I'm definitely not buying it day one. It comes out on my birthday, June 19, which is ironic. But I'm not going to play it day one. I'm going to find a way. If I even have to watch it, I don't want to give Naughty Dog my money because I don't like their practices. I don't like what they've been doing. I don't like that they're using a political drive to tell their story rather. Like, come on, it's the apocalypse. Where the hell is Abby going to get the resources and, you know, all the things that she needs to transition? If she might not even be transgender, and even if she isn't transgender, she's just a muscly woman. I have no problem with muscular women. I like muscular women, you know. So, but if where is she gonna train and, you know, like she's gonna constantly work out and get wench? Like, she's huge, Abby. Have you seen it? It's pretty big. Like, I think the model's changed because when I saw the leaked images of Abby, I'm not gonna put it up because I'm gonna get struck. When I saw the leaked images of Abby, she looked like really huge. Like, she didn't even have no more boobs. She just had like a literal pecs, like almost like she is transgender or something. She looked like a dude, like literally a dude's body. But then if you look at the E3 in 2018 trailer of Abby where she's getting hung and you can see her abs and everything, like Abby, I wonder if that's what they call that. You can see her abs and everything when she's getting hung and everything. She looks a bit more feminine there compared to the leaked image. So I don't know what they've done or which one's older or what they're going for with Abby. I know the proper actual, I don't know, that's probably transphobic, but a woman is voicing her. It's not like they've got like an actual trans person to voice Abby. But then I watched like this other guy, I can't remember his name now, is quite popular on YouTube, talking about how he used to love Naughty Dog and how they've turned anti-HJW, and he has really cool points in a fair video talking about that. But in his video, he showed Naughty Dog on E3 at E3. I can't remember what E3 it was, whether it was 2019 or 2018 E3, and like they showed one of the characters is Abby's like partner, this boy. I think he's like an Asian boy, but the boy in real life is transgender, and apparently Neil Druckmann hired him specifically because he was transgender, which is a bit weird. But in the game, I think he's just an actual boy, like born a boy, biologically male. So I don't know which one's which. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what their game plan is. I don't know what this kid. Look, this kid is watching that E3 panel with that transgender kid, and the fact that they got a gay woman to introduce it that's never played games before, and all this kind of shit. It looks kind of mad still. Like the agenda looks hot. The agenda looks strong. So yeah, like even before all this leaks came out, that I never knew about that, but that looked bad. I only saw that yesterday when I was looking all this stuff up. But yeah, man, I'm gonna definitely take Last of Us with a grain of salt and just slow and just see how it goes. I'm not gonna just jump into that game right away. But yeah, anyway, that's my thoughts on this whole Last of Us drama. Please don't strike me, Naughty Dog, because I know you lot are going mad right now. But yeah, anyway, that's my thoughts. That's my video. If you like my video, my thoughts, give us a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell for notifications, and I'll see you again. Peace. You know what, just to make a point, right? I'm going to make a nice little point right now. I'm going to replace that poster that was Last of Us with a better, stronger woman. Yeah. There we go. Much better replacement. A strong feminine woman, strong independent woman that looks like a woman. Shocking.